So now I want to, let me just close my image bin down there. Now I just want to have a closer look at this particular mask, and I think we'll find from here that yeah, we've actually got some very fine remaining pixels showing around the outline of the leaf. So to cure that, I'm actually going to click on the adjustment layer. I'm going to control click the layer mask, and that will generate a selection from the mask itself. I'm going to go to select and modify, choose contract, and I'm actually just going to contract this selection just by 1 pixel. So I simply need to enter 1 in the value box, and we'll click OK. So that's contracted that selection by 1 pixel, which will enable us to get rid of any of those ragged white pixels showing. Click directly on the layer mask. I want to invert the selection, and I'm simply going to go to Edit and Fill Selection, choosing black for contents, and we'll click OK. Let's deselect, and you'll see that that's nicely tidied up the selection around the leaves and got rid of any ragged pixels. Now you'll probably see here, if you inspect closely, we'll see that there are still some tiny bits of white showing, but again, because we're working on a layer mask, this is easily solved. We can simply choose the brush tool. I'm going to reduce the brush to a very small size indeed. Make sure that black is my foreground colour, and I can simply paint into the mask with black, just to hide any of these unwanted white areas. So there's a real advantage to using a layer mask here. It gives us the opportunity to really clean the outline of the leaf up. Simple thing to remember that in terms of layer masking, black conceals and white reveals. So when we paint directly onto the layer mask with black, we're actually concealing that part of the associated image layer. So I'm just going around here and just touching in these tiny little bits of white, just to hide those completely. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that isolated leaf now, and we've actually got the black background layer showing through the layer mask around the outside. So there's a couple of little bits on this leaf that I actually want to clean up. For that, I'm going to click on the leaf layer itself. I want to choose the clone stamp tool. I'm going to choose a nice soft brush from the brush picker. Let's reduce the brush to a suitable size. Simply hold down the Alt key and click on a clear area of leaf, and then I can simply proceed to clone over the offending area. I'm going to do the same on the other side here. Again, single clicks just to clone over that. We want to copy a little bit of this vein so we can actually clone over the offending area with that, which just completes that vein. Again, there's another small section here that I want to deal with. Increase the size of the brush a little, hold down the Alt key and simply click over the offending area, like so. So you need to do that on all the offending parts of the leaf, any little imperfections that show up that you don't want to be visible in the final image. Next thing I want to do is actually increase the saturation of the leaf. I do want these autumn colours really nice and vivid. We can easily do that by going to Enhance and Adjust Colour. I'm going to choose Adjust Hue and Saturation, and I'm simply going to grab the saturation slider and I'm going to pull it up until I'm happy with the saturation of the leaf, and that's looking pretty good. That's looking nice and vibrant. Let's just zoom out of that a little. Yeah, that's great. I also want to sharpen the leaf a little, so we'll go to Enhance and Unsharp Mask. Make sure that the preview box is checked so you can check your result on the actual image itself. I'm going to set the threshold to around 5. I want to use a fairly small radius, so I'm just sharpening the details rather than sharpening too many areas. Again, if we check and uncheck the preview, we can see the difference that's made, and that's looking nice and sharp. I think I'm just going to reduce the radius a little on that and just increase the amount. Do need to watch out for any nasty halos appearing, but that's looking pretty good. Just zoom out of that, see what's going on. That's looking great. I just want to apply a small curves adjustment to this leaf now to make it just a bit more contrasty, and for that we'll go to Enhance, Adjust Colour and Adjust Colour Curves. We've got this nice little preview here. I'm going to slightly increase the mid-tone contrast, not too much but just a little, to give the contrast within the leaf a little punch. I'm going to increase the highlights just a bit, and I'm going to just darken the shadows, and we'll click OK to apply that adjustment. So that's nicely isolated, adjusted the colours and sharpened up the leaf. I now simply want to go to Layer and Flatten Image, just to flatten the image completely. And you'll also find another video tutorial on the cover CD where we'll show you how to add one of our autumn borders to this image.